I'm Charlotte McLeod with the Investing News Network, and here today with me at the Canadian Investor Conference is Jason Paltrowitz, Executive Vice President, Corporate Services at OTC Markets Group. Thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
Okay, so to start off, I wanted to ask, many companies listed on OTC exchanges are also listed on other exchanges. Can you talk a little bit about the benefits of being dually listed?
Sure. At OTC Markets, we have over 3,000 companies that are listed on a foreign market. A lot of those choose to be listed in the U.S. because of the access to capital. The U.S. still has 48% of the world's investable assets. We have 66% of the world's hedge funds. And so while being listed on their home market allows them to be national champions, being able to come to the U.S. and access U.S. capital and U.S. investors still helps them in any number of ways, from their valuations to being able to pay their U.S. employees should they have them in stock, being able to use their equity as acquisition currency and things like that.
Okay, and of course that's very important today. So, from what I understand, one of your goals over the past year or so has been to make improvements to the OTCQX marketplace.
Yes.
What have you done so far, and is there anything else coming that investors should be watching for?
Sure. We've done a lot of things this year, actually, from helping companies access investors and helping companies raise their profile. In fact, we recently announced the OTCQX Best 50, so our top 50 companies' performance over 2014. A lot of press releases around that. We've bulked up our relationship management team, so we're helping companies more actively engage the U.S. Today we actually announced something called a virtual investor conference for our issuers, so a way to be able to roadshow in the U.S. without actually having to roadshow. You can do it from your office, which is a great opportunity for companies who can't always get to the U.S. or who can't always spend 20, 30, 40 days a year roadshowing. So helping companies increase their visibility is really something we worked on last year into this year. Going forward, as our QB marketplace continues to grow and the verification standards to be on QB continue to be enhanced, we will be looking to increase the quotation standards on our QX marketplace. So looking at things like a minimum bid price or ongoing requirements for the penny stock rule in the U.S. are things that we're looking to enhance that marketplace going forward.
Okay, and of course you also have the OTC Pink. Do you have anything going on over there?
No, OTC Pink continues to be OTC Pink.
Okay.
A very important marketplace for us. It is the open marketplace that allows broker-dealers to efficiently trade, a whole host of securities. As we continue to grow QB and QX, though, and the transparency around those companies, it will be making it a lot easier for investors to understand the types of companies that are on Pink and to make really good investment decisions based on the tiering of our markets.
Okay. Now, this is the second year that this conference has included tech companies and diversified companies, as well as the metals companies. So I was wondering, how are those sectors represented on the OTC exchanges?
Probably the same as anywhere else. Again, if you look across our QX and our QB marketplaces, certainly from Canada specifically, we are starting to see an increase in the number of tech companies looking to access U.S. capital. Companies like Prometic Life Sciences or SQI, great tech companies that are quoted in the U.S. And I think we'll continue to see that grow. We had, over the last couple of years, actually 8 or 9 Canadian tech companies that have actually uplisted or upgraded to NASDAQ or NYSE market. So we continue to not only be a great place for companies to go to access U.S. capital, but as they grow their story and want to uplist in the U.S., a great place for them to come and, in essence, learn how to be U.S. public companies, which is great for us.
Okay. So shifting a little bit, one concern I've seen a little bit is algorithmic trading is on the rise, as are other kind of tech kind of things. Retail investors are wondering if they're still working on a level playing field.
Yeah. There's been a lot. There was a book, Flash Boys, right? It's gotten a lot of people to talk about it. From a retail investor perspective, it's never been cheaper and easier to trade. And I think, we need to stop and look at that. The markets have become so efficient. The cost to trade securities has gone down tremendously, that the retail investor, if you think about them 20 years ago versus today, are really at an advantage. Certainly on our market, we operate our marketplace differently than say the NYSE or NASDAQ in terms of how broker-dealers connect. We don't sit in the middle and operate a matching engine, so we don't have co-location and things like that you've learned in the Flash Boys books. So there are differences in market structure, certainly, but either way, irrespective, like I said, it's never been cheaper, easier, more efficient to trade securities than I think it is today, both retail and institutional.
Okay, so lots of choices for investors, and one of the things you mentioned in your panel just now was the misconception that public companies are transparent, private companies are not. So how can you help investors tell the difference between who is and who isn't?
Well, what we've done is the creation of our QX and QB marketplaces. You know, if you think back to what the U.S. was, the OTC market back in the early 2000s or late 1990s, it was just one big mass of securities. It made it very difficult for investors to understand the good and the bad. Through the creation of OTCQX, our best marketplace, and OTCQB, our venture marketplace, we're now requiring companies to make disclosure, and we're requiring them to do things that enhance their SEC registration. You know, like I said in my panel, simply registering with the SEC is not enough for an investor to know if a company is investable, if they're doing the right things, if they're open and transparent. We require that added level of disclosure to help investors. And I think as you look at OTCQX and the financial requirements, as well as the disclosure requirements, and OTCQB, the verification processes and checks that we put in place, that really helps and enhances the investor experience and helps them understand what really is an investable company versus a company that they would have to take a little more care with when making an investment.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. That's all from me today.
Thank you.
This is Jason Paltrowitz, and I'm Charlotte McLeod with the Investing News Network.